The Call of the Factory is a powerful portrait of forced labor in industrialization. It highlights the experience of pain in an ambiguous concept. A little girl, Mariam, on a journey discovers the daunting obstacles of her father's torture with startling heroism. 60 years ago, the factory somewhere in the woods was left abandoned. What seemed like some kind of landscape is actually what is left of a power plant, once filled with machines and equipments. The structure is falling apart bit by bit, and nature is slowly reclaiming its places. Due to its past, the industrial area was contaminated and was shut down by the government. The administration declared bankruptcy. Mariam was only 15 when she was sent to visit her father. It happened on a Thursday. It must have because she has been restless to meet her Baba after 8 years. Her Baba Jalil is the rich owner of the factory, always occupied in the work life. To pass the time until she would see him, she wondered what is behind the forgotten walls of the factory. Mariam heard a scream of the baby from inside. She lifts the back where she was standing and follows the sound as the dry autumn lift crushed underfoot. Every time she thought she got closer to the baby, the sound keeps getting further and further away. The high dark walls doesn't make the place very inviting. Mariam notices the large entrance of the unit and follows the sound fearlessly. Little did she know what she'll see inside will change her life. The inside of the derelict structure is a time capsule. It uncovered everything what once existed. High ceiling made the metal noise laughing of men, screams of women even louder. Baba was standing on the mezzanine floor demanding and screaming at the people. Mariam recognized her Baba's voice and hugged him as tight as she could. Jalil was not so excited to see her daughter as Mariam was, but he decides to show her around the factory. Mariam could already feel the pain and the misery of the people echoing in the unit. Baba explained how people were lured in the name of job, were brought here, but the reality was different. Workers were lying sick in the corner along with the rotten furniture, but were not allowed to return back. Most of them were treated with electronic batons to make them work, but instead they become limp. They get trapped here for the entire lifetime, but rather the life is short. Mariam follows her father, and every place that she went carries a rather bitter taste to it. Unfortunately, the dark chapters is dominating. Along with the waste of the factory, there lie people just waiting to be deported to death camps. Along 700 to 800 workers were missing until today. Baba was very proudly showing the work he has been doing. Baba leads her to another unit where the entrance shutter was fallen apart. It seemed like an escape for the people who had to endure a great suffering. It seemed to be dark inside. A haunting atmosphere started to unfold in the stacked, narrow passages. Mariam could see the people who had shackles on their feet and handcuffs on their wrists. Unfortunately, killing did not stop at all. Mariam made her way inside the main space of the factory, which was brightened up by the roof light. Fungus started to spread. Blood spots were rotting along with the wall. She could hear loud screams that echo in the empty industrial unit. Some of the new workers were enforced mass murders. All of them are killed, either gassed or by the use of drug. It seemed like a large-scale disposal. Mariam was numb and rushes on the way outside, which was supposed to be the ground where workers used to eat. The factory behind was entirely taken over by vegetation. It's like Mother Nature reclaiming what's hers. She realized that not only the workers were treated in the most inhuman way, but even the children were doomed to grow up here. Their eyes kept staring at her. It's like they were asking for help. She couldn't resist seeing any more of it and rushes back to the ground where to find her Baba, who died 4 years ago. Mariam wakes up from a dream all sweaty. The sound of water running in the kitchen, clock ticking, false fire alarm makes her feel so dizzy that she doesn't remember her dream. Her dream is now only a blurred image of darkness. Her father Jalil walks in the same moment and asks her to pack her bag for the next 2 days. What's going on? She whispers. It's going to be a surprise. Hurry up, Jalil answered. All packed, they started heading towards the outskirts of the city. It was windy, the air brushed to Mariam's hair in the back seat. In order to save a squirrel on the road, Jalil made a sudden left turn which eventually crashed their car into the bushes. Mariam and Jalil were gasping short of breath. Through the smoke of the car, they noticed an old man coming towards them. He suggested to get the car repaired down right next to where they were standing. Jalil was about to ask if there was any place to rest, but the man disappeared. The entrance of the building seemed a little fancy yet scary, as if it was falling. Jalil noticed an unusual pattern on the wall when he pushed the car into the driveway of the building. The raw texture of the wall, the wildness of the nature, gives Jalil a doubt if he was in the right place for the same reason. Searching for the entrance, the pavement hints about the entrance to a long dead wall where there are no signs of what this place was really about. Each step closer, the rawness of the wall made him curious about the inside of the building. He enters the space from a sharp yet square puncture on the wall and is blown away with what he sees inside. Meanwhile, Mariam waits patiently in the car until her father commands, but curious to look around for Jalil. Her glance shifts to the shadow going underground, which she mistakes as Jalil and follows unknowingly. As soon as she enters the underground, she stops for 2 seconds, remembering the image of darkness from a nightmare. One step at a time, she looks back if somebody is following her. One step on the staircase is enough to give hope, knowing that the staircase leads somewhere back where she came from. But it leads to an entrance, to a hall. Her gaze was pulled up by the obvious directionality of the light. It was brightly lit from the bottom two sides, but she sees at the top is something she has never seen or imagined. The stones were caged in a wire mesh and hang. As she moves forward, the falling of the cage gives her a sense of discomfort. She avoids walking from below it. The structure has weird smell of pesticides that cause irritation. The floating structure had attached steel plates where the names of the people were written in such a way that it screams scribbled. The scribbling was something similar from what a prisoner does in a jail. She managed to read a name which was similar to the name of the old man that she met outside, the one who suggested to get the car repaired down in the building in the first place. Her heart skipped a bit. She slowly started moving away, but her gaze still stuck at the name on the steel plate. Her attention is pulled by the derelict wall, which is punctured and pushed to the other side. The punctured wall showed the heaviness of the brick, as if it would just fall if somebody moved from under it. But it was framed. Yet the bush wall left marks on the floor as if a heavy object is dragged forcefully. She moves forward looking at the marks on the floor that leads her to a long dead wall, which is punctured with miniature holes allowing sharp light to enter. On her right, she finds Jalil had entered the same space as her. Jalil was awestruck not just by looking at the reflection of the wall, but he saw her daughter entering a space that looked like she has emerged from the millions of reflecting stars. The space has zigzag circulation which does not allow one to take shortcut. The movement includes going back and forth between the long textured walls and columns that slows one down to reflect on the close details of the display. Jalil explained Mariam the moment he knew what this place was really about. The display had shown the material life of the factory workers, poor quality of their dwellings, their clothes, commodities, class exploitation, and profit extraction from their life. Mariam was then able to read the series of sculpture showing the distortions of body shape caused by the repeated tasks in the factory production process that the body was involved in. She remembered the Hall of Names and was then able to relate why the stones were caged and hung, which shows how the objects, machines, and bodies are brought into destructive, intimate relationship, and most times forced. The light on the textured wall gave direction towards the end of the unit. On turning right, Mariam warned Jalil to watch the ramp and move slowly. It led them towards the courtyard, a space that seeks an answer to the reflections of the past journey. But this time, it does not look back, but ahead. The walls of the courtyard were made from bushes and creepers trapped in a wire mesh, but allows the overgrown to show a feeling of hope from the trapping. What would happen if humans keep destroying each other? We are like nature. Yet there are some who get trapped in order to live their life, and some. The old man stopped talking as she noticed Mariam's tears. She looked back and saw the old man instead of her father who was speaking with her all this time. Like a look in the crystal ball, the space revealed what might be ahead of us. The imagination of how alive nature would look if not trapped. Just like humans, she has now a newfound respect for human dignity. There's also a second structure on the property, apparently where life is trying to return to places from which it was expelled. Mariam felt eerie to see the deserted past, yet it was a lost paradise for the people who are free to live their life. Silence dominates, rainwater and sunshine spills to the destroyed parts of the building, producing ruined space filled with poetic atmosphere. The structure allowed nature that is used as a setting for the temporary exhibition. Mariam realized that instead of her father, she was with other strangers that are moving in the same space setting where the destroyed roofs construct the new orientation of the movement. The man-made, along with the natural elements such as light, water, wind, etc., gave her fear and also a sense of surprise. The space ends with a reflecting pool among the wilderness, the space that demands a healthy relationship with the planet, the space that shows the dominance of nature than of a man. In a world where dominance views violence is no longer required, and will not last as one would think. At one point, it's just vanished in the present. Understanding this helped Mariam realize the value of human life and why she was here in the first place. Thank you.